Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here. I recently reviewed Hab Gut, a stock market manipulation game, which is very clean and an interesting design. However, I realize this game is not that easy to get your hands on. But the designer has a newer game that utilizes some of the same mechanisms as found in Hab Gut. That game is called Divinity Derby, this one right here. And so I figured today I would just go ahead and compare these two a little bit. Now there is a full-blown review of this on our channel if you want to go check that out. But this video is just going to be focused a little bit on comparing what is the same, what is that main central mechanism that they share, and what is different in these two, seeing as to perhaps you cannot get your hands on this one, would Divinity Derby suffice and maybe even surpass what you were expecting from this original. The main mechanism that these two games share is this one right here. There's going to be a rack with cards between every two players. So these cards are not in front of you. They are between you and the player to your right. And there's another rack with cards between you and the player to your left. And you are going to be using these two in Hab Gut, affect the market and drive the prices of different stocks up or down. And in Divinity Derby, to move creatures along a racing track. And so the idea is you are, when at this stage in the game, going to take a card from your right hand, the track on your right hand, one from the track on your left hand, and you are going to play one at full strength and one at a lower strength. So for example, if I would take this card, and let's say that from the other rack came this card, then I could play this one at full strength, -2, drop down yellow by 2, and this one at half strength, -1, and drop down white for -1. Or I could do something like this. This at full strength for -2, this at half strength for +3. So I'm really hurting whoever's invested in brown because I just denied them another 3 bumps in brown there. Same thing over here. You are going to once again play 2 cards from the 2 different racks, that is, and you would play one at full strength, say this creature here at 3, and the other one at the lower value. So this one here at 2. Again, denying this one some possible moves and helping this one along. The tracks on which this manipulation happens are very different. This is Divinity Derby, and you are going to be moving these creatures here along the track in order to have them race one another. And so they will move along like so. Let's say I play a 4 for the dragon here. 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. And they are going to be different ones moving along at different times in the game. The track for Hab Gut, as I said, is a market manipulation board, so it's going to look like that. And you are simply going to have markers on this track and pushing them up and down, affecting the values. Now, there's no pushing back in the racing game, but you can hinder some creatures by simply having them move less. But in this game, +6 here would move this up, and -2 there would move that down, dropping the price at which you buy and sell stock, and of course, upping the price in the case of the brown there. So what are you going for in these games? How do you win? Well, in Hab Gut, you are buying and selling these different shares. You are hoping to buy them low, of course, sell them high, and you are going for money. Most money at the end of the game is going to be the winner. In the racing game, Divinity Derby, you are placing bets on creatures with your cards, and you are going to be using your cards and a token of the creature you are betting on in order to gamble on that creature. You're betting on the market, if you would. So first, second, or third place gets me 2 victory points, whereas this one that says last place and last place alone, 7 victory points. And I would play one of these face down, put a token on it. No one knows what the card is, only I know that, but they do know the creature. There's one final twist in each of these games. In Hab Gut, it is this donation board. In Divinity Derby, the judgment, or protection possibly, of Zeus. So how does this work? Well, in Hab Gut, you are going to be allowed to, throughout the game, as you're buying stocks, you are allowed to donate them to this board. And at the end of half the game, and again at the very end of the game, these stocks are going to convert into money that you'll place up here at whatever the current value is right at that moment. And at the end of the game, whoever donated the least amount of money is eliminated from the game outright, and you cannot possibly win. Then you sell everything back you've still got, if you did not get eliminated, that is, and whoever's got the most money is the winner of the game. In the other game, Divinity Derby, you are allowed to sometimes play cards that are called cheating cards that allow you to bend the value up here a little bit. This one, for example, is value 1, and the lower one is 0, the bad value. However, there's a +3 right there to the next to the 1, and you may cheat with this card. If you play it as the one that gets the upper value, you can say, "Hey, guess what? It's 4 that it's going to move ahead, not just 1." But then you must take this card and add it to the Zeus pile, in which there are 4 of these cards. And at the end of the game, let's say I cheat with that one, I cheat with the Pegasus here. At the end of the race, we are going to shuffle up this deck of cards, and we are going to reveal 2 of them. And those 2 are eliminated from the game, from the race. So, again, if you hit protection cards, you're good. Your gamble paid off. Or maybe you were trying to get them killed. If they do come up, however, then that creature simply does not score. We remove it from the track, in fact, and bump all the other creatures behind it 1 space up on the winning track. So this, again, simulates a little bit of this idea, pushing your luck. How much is enough? Will you be able to get away with giving less, or with maybe, gambling a little bit, pushing your creature along, but maybe you'll incur the wrath of the gods in this one. And that's pretty much it for these. There is more in common between these 2 games that is at first apparent. Of course, Hab Gut here has fewer components. It's a little bit simpler of a design at the end of the day. And of course has a much more commonplace theme, the stock market theme, a much more dry theme as well. Divinity Derby is slightly more tongue-in-cheek. It's going to have a few more rules, and of course it is a race, whereas this one does not quite feel that way. But they really do utilize a lot of the same mechanisms and are going to, use the same part of your brain in how you play. What kind of tactician are you? So, if you've been intrigued by Hab Gut, if you haven't even heard of it before, if you are excited by race games with something clever and unique about them, then check out Divinity Derby, check out Hab Gut if you can get it. I, myself, do like Divinity Derby a little bit better. I like the theme better. I find it less dry, a little more engaging to play. And there's just something about these mythological creatures racing that gets my blood pumping. I enjoy the spectacle. But they are both excellent designs, and for the right audience, can certainly lead to a very fun evening of entertainment. So there you go. Thanks for checking these out with me. I'm Zee Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com.